Anyway, my name is Laurence, and I'm the Director for AI Industry Innovation over at AI Singapore. I see a lot of familiar faces, that's great. I was told to give a keynote, basically, what AI Singapore is actually doing to promote the use of AI in the industry. Some of you who have attended our AI for Everyone, there's nothing new here actually. So. Okay, so let's just do a short corporate video. So AI Singapore is already a national program to try to boost the AI capability in Singapore. Well, my office is actually in NUS, but we are actually, as a national program, we are neutral. We go to all the universities in Singapore, that means 6, including A-Star. And it's not restricted to just computer science, right? AI cuts across. In fact, in the video, some of you in engineering, you will recognize Prof. Lee. He's actually in NUS engineering. So we believe AI can be done by actually half of the apprentices that we have in our current program are actually from engineering background. Okay, the other half computer science, and the other, okay, 40, and last 20% is actually could be maths, stats, and so on and so forth. So we fund researchers to undertake fundamental research through annual grant calls. We have the Grand Challenge. I'll talk a little bit more about that, and AI industry innovation is the one that I run. So in AI research, we are very keen to look at the type of AI technology or techniques that would be very suitable from a Singapore perspective. Obviously, some are global in nature, but Singapore being a very small country, we are interested to fund researchers to undertake AI with small data sets or no data sets. Okay? Because we just don't have enough data sets to compete with the likes of China and bigger countries. So these are some of the areas that the committee has put together. I think for this year, it will be explainable AI, learning from small data sets, and sense making. For AI technology, they drive the program through a set of grand challenges. And the first one is in healthcare that has been announced. And the healthcare grand challenge is how can AI help primary care teams to stop or slow disease progression, complication development in the 3H. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, hyperglycemia, diabetes. These are three that the Singapore government and hospitals spend a lot of money treating patients, and we think AI could play a significant role in helping to reduce the cost and improving their lives. So the challenge has been announced. The 3 teams has been selected. In fact, I think tomorrow is the award, the formal award ceremony for these 3 teams. Each team is formed by a consortium of researchers, partnerships between academia, industry, and the hospitals. Okay. So in AI industry innovation, how we are trying to drive industry adoption of AI really is to enable you to do AI by bringing expertise, by bringing engineering expertise, AI expertise, by putting money on the table and partnering with people like IBM and the OpenPOWER initiative to actually bring that technology to the industry. So, anyone from industry here? Not the vendors, companies. Yeah? So, if you have a business problem that is AI, or you think it's AI related, or you think you're not sure, doesn't matter. Come to us, we have the people to help determine whether AI could be useful. And if it is, you will have to contribute a few things. One, your engineering manpower, data sets. We don't provide any data sets. And you have to match it in cash and in kind. The in kind refers to your manpower. But the whole idea of this program is not for the researcher to conduct a research and deliver a paper. It is for an engineering team to do the research and development to produce an MVP, a minimum viable product, between 9 to 18 months, which you can take back and deploy in an organization. Okay, so we run it as an engineering outfit. And in doing so, we also train apprentices. You saw in the video, those are the first batch. They're all very young, less than 3 years from graduations. We only specify that they are Singaporeans, they are graduates, and we don't specify which faculty or which background they come from. My personal belief is Anyone who's passionate about AI can learn AI. I don't care where your first degree is from. So as of second batch, we actually have, like I mentioned, 40% engineering, 40% computer science background. The last 20% from a mix. And this is actually very, very powerful for those who actually have been involved in AI and data science for a long time. You understand the value that this cross-discipline brings to the table. So in AI projects that involve procurement, for example, I actually have a 8-year veteran procurement manager sitting in our office as an apprentice. And he or she may not be directly involved in a procurement AI project, but if his cohort or his counterpart is, imagine he could just turn around, walk up to him and say, what is this term? How does this whole process work? Okay, so it's really fantastic that this different background comes together. And mind you, the apprenticeship program is not rescaling. It's what we call deep scaling. These are people who already are advanced or intermediate Python or R developers. They have already done their AI and machine learning online courses or in the universities, but they have not had an opportunity to work on a real world problem. So we put them through this $500,000 project, 100 experiments. And in doing so, after 9 months, they will leave AI Singapore with an experience of building an AI project, a real world AI project end-to-end. What's and everything. The biggest complaint we get is, customer don't have data. That's the real world. Okay, learn how to handle that. Right? In the 9 months, we are not giving them lectures. We only have like the first 6 weeks where we deep skill, make sure everybody have more or less the same knowledge. After that, it is, we feed them to the wolves. And we have mentors and professional managers that try to protect them a little bit, but they are basically fed to the wolves. So the whole goal is to produce the MVP at the end of 9 or 18 months, and then for the industry to hire them. They have worked on your project for 9 months. It does not make sense not to hire them. So what are some of the projects that we have done? We have done one for Savannah Jurong. This is Prof. Tan Hui Ping over at SMU, who's working in Savannah, and 2 of our apprentices actually helped build predictive maintenance algorithm to predict leaf failures. So Savannah Jurong is now out there installing all sorts of sensors in the leaves. We have this one, which is in microfinance. This prof is from Prof. Pan, is actually from NUS SOC. He's an expert using social media to profile and create a credit score for people. And our apprentice actually created an app already on the handphone that can actually do this. Unfortunately, I would say our Singapore government is very conservative. They feel that there is maybe ethical and whatever issues involved. They have not approved the app yet, but I understand the company has launched this in Vietnam. Yes.
How is the app different than Credit Karma?
It could be different, but the reason why we support these companies, these are Singapore-based companies,
okay,
and they want to create new businesses. Right. And when we see that, hey, okay, you are a legacy, non-digital, and now you want to go digital, and you have the footprint in the region, and you have existing businesses that you leverage your new digital business on, we will help. Right? Yes, there are some of these solutions, there are existing solutions out there. We are mindful of that. In fact, for projects that come to us where there is a really existing industry player, we say, why don't you work with them? Now, those are bigger companies that want a solution to solve a small problem. But in this case, it is a company, a Singapore company that wants to build a new business. Lunch actually, very interesting, non-engineering but very human-centered. A dating company that wanted to build not just a Tinder-like experience, right? They wanted to build a relationship advisor that takes you not just from matching you on your first date, but where you should go, and that's how they actually make their money, right? They do the recommendation of restaurants and so on. But more importantly, it goes to, they don't stop there. They track you all the way to you get married, get you to have kids faster, not the first one, second one, third one. Singapore birth rate is very low. So as a national objective, I thought it's a very interesting project. It's very long drawn, it's probably multi-year, but we're happy to help them to get started. Obviously, we have done quite a fair bit of healthcare-related projects. A lot of them are POCs. And the last one, which is speech to text. This is really, now you say, why are we even bothering speech to text? There is Google, there's Apple Siri, and so on and so forth. There's so many of these speech to text engines. The problem is this, right? In Singapore, we speak with a Singaporean accent. That's one. Two, some of us speak in both English and POWER at the same time, Chinese or Mandarin. Within a single sentence, you may have multiple languages. They do code switching. Most of the American-built engines will not understand that, right? And if even someone speaks in English alone, but because of our accent, it may not be that accurate. So, fortunately for us, in Singapore, we actually have the world's leading speech-to-text code switch researchers. Prof. Lee from NUS Engineering and Prof. Chen over at NTU. They've been collaborating for the last 20-25 years. So we have started a speech lab to accelerate their development and to commercialize that. So this is our program, and this is how we are helping companies to adopt AI. I mentioned about the apprenticeship program. So they work on a project that is up to $500,000. To get in, you have to pass our test. So it's a very competitive. So far, we have the third batch is coming in end of this month, and we have on average about 150 people that apply. We take in less than 20. Okay. Batch 2, where we open up to people that have more than 3 years experience. It was very interesting. We got all the and that was, I think, a good move. We actually had people with lots of industry experience coming in. And batch 2, I have 4 PhDs. I believe 2 or 3 are PhDs were actually from NUS Engineering, Civil, ISE, Electrical. And we release them back to the industry once they're done. Okay, so in this, we actually partner with multiple industry partners, including IBM, right, where their training materials, their hardware, and so on will be used. Like I say, we don't conduct courses. We just say, okay, if this project is going to run on power, these are all the materials. Please go and read it up. The way these people get the course is they are very self-directed. We don't sit them through classrooms. We say, this is what you need to know. Please go and learn. This is really more for people who are beginning to dabble with AI machine learning. This is a year's program, basically done online. We started with 3 months. I had to change this to 1 year because a lot of people wrote in and say, I can't finish all the courses in 3 months. So it's all done online with data camp. And if you pass, you get reimbursed back 70 or 90%. So that's a good deal. You exit with a foundations in AI cert. This is our 3-hour workshop that we conduct for everyone. We just did one on Saturday. We did one on Friday, which was the biggest. We had nearly 600 women turn up because it was an International Women's Day, and we did a special one for women. When you come to our public one, it's totally free. If you want us to go to corporates, we'll charge you a small fee, basically to fund our other programs. Things like AI for students. I'm sure there are some lecturers here, educators, right? University lecturers. If you need your students to learn R or Python, and one way, yes, you could send them over to computer science. Another way is you could just say, sign up for AI for students. We'll open up the data camp platform for you. You can use everything in there. You just specify what modules you want. So we have a lot of university lecturers that use this. So for example, someone is teaching econs and he wants the students to learn about R. Instead of conducting R himself, he just said, okay, please log in to this website, your accounts have been registered, go and do all these R modules. Right? And our partnership with them allows them to use all this for free. And we are pushing this all the way down to secondary schools. Today I have 5,400 students sign up to use this. I have one JC that signed up all their JC students to use this to learn Python. Okay, we really need to start. Yeah, we cannot wait until universities to speak late. But I'm not going to enter primary schools. Okay, so this is, we are still building. The initial courses were I got 3 very, very bright NUSI students coming to build for me. We have actually programmed, they actually programmed, not we, they actually for Scratch 3.0 for those who are familiar with Scratch, and embedded Microsoft Azure connected services so that with just a few blocks, drag and drop, you can actually play computer vision games. Yes.
I'm curious, what is the age of the youngsters that got to be taking part in this project?
Which one? The AI for Kids?
AI for Kids, yeah.
This one, we brought them in, the first boot camp we did was for primary 5 and primary 6.
5 and 6.
Yeah, I think we could actually push it down lower to primary 4 and 5. But basically, our requirement is that you come, okay, so the way we're going to run this is this, we're going to have boot camps probably every 4 months, but for this, because we only have 3 hours with them, we have certain criteria to say you have to come in with this knowledge. But the actual AI for Kids is actually nearly 14 hours of materials.
And I'm curious, what are the qualifying criteria for kids like that? How do you assess whether somebody's got talent in that area or not, that should take part in that program or not?
Okay, so for the boot camp, we say you must come in knowing Scratch. So my assumption is that if you register, you know. If you don't know, I mean, I can't. But eventually when we roll out to more primary school kids and their teachers, we have a whole 12 to 14 hours materials that takes you from 0 to for loop, while loops with Scratch and so on, right? And some theory of AI and then the hands-on. Right. This is still being worked on. We are slowly rolling this out in phases as we change the program to the best. So really, right, we have covered the professionals with all this that we announced last year, and we have already run it. We continue to tweak some of them. The students one is more or less done. We have lots of schools signing up. And the last one, AI for Kids, is one of those that we are very new and we're still playing around with. So we want to cover the whole, Singapore wants to do AI. We cannot say I want to do AI and then all of a sudden turn around and do talent. We need to build that whole talent pipeline starting at a very young age. So this is how we are building it, and what is surprising to you is none of this program is actually funded by AI Singapore original paper. It was all due to 100E and engagement with industry that we found that there was a need for this, and we created this. And that's why please, if you want me to go to your organization to speak, I'm happy to, but I'll charge you so that I can fund this program, which I have 0 funding from the government. Okay? So, thank you, and I apologize for being late. Any questions?